Hi everyone, it's great to see you. I'm ready to update you on how the coleus seeds are doing, and they're actually doing very well. Let me take off our dome here. Ooh, that was wet. Okay. So if you take a look, we've had fairly good germination. There's still a number of empty cells here, and if that ever happens to you, you can go and plug in another seed there, and that's just fine. At about 3 days after planting these, I did have some germination, especially with our Kongs and our giant exhibition limelight. And then some of the others have filled in. And even yesterday, I started to see a couple little places of growth here. So if you come close, so what you're going to notice here is that all of these leaves look pretty much the same, and yet you can see that I planted many kinds of coleus here. And that's because these are the initial cotyledon leaves. And a cotyledon comes out of the seed first. Those are the little leaves that are in the seed, and starts to feed the plant. But you actually don't get the leaves that look specific to that plant until you get the next set of leaves that then comes up. And they'll come up from the center here and go opposite directions. And then we'll be able to hopefully start to see some of the differentiation of the colors here and what we really have. You might notice that we have a little bit of white mold on the top of some of these. That is completely normal. All you do is you carefully go through. You can even just take your fingertip and sort of scratch that off the top. It was nice and moist in here because I did have the dome on top to really insulate this, and I have had my heat mat on. Now, these have grown for about a week. So now it's time to take the dome off, give them some air, and I'm actually going to remove the heat mat too. So now that these babies have some air, we're going to go in the other room and we have some more seeds to plant today. So today I am going to be planting my cosmos seeds, and on the back of my packages it tells you about how many weeks to count back from your last frost date or when you feel like it will be safe to put your seedlings out. And I had done that ahead of time, so on today's calendar it comes up Cosmos seed planting day. So fortunately I like having all those things sort of planned out ahead of time. I just take a time, sit down, figure out when you can plant things. And I'm going to be using my Jiffy pots here again. I have one more tray of these, so I figure go ahead and use them. I've already made sure that they're all facing the right direction with the little hole on top here, and I just need to rehydrate them. So I have some warm water, not more than 10 cups, usually 8 to 9 cups, and you need to give them about 10 minutes to poof up and get nice and hydrated, ready for planting. And now we wait. While these finish reconstituting, I'm just going to be pulling back this little white sheath that is around each pot here so that I can loosen the soil a little bit. So I have fluffed all of our little Jiffy pots, and of course now these aren't real soil. I had said I was going to fluff the soil. This is peat. This is like a seed planting mixture here. So it really wouldn't have the nutrients to ensure that they get as strong as they need to for full growth. That's why you plant them in these initially, and then you'll transplant them up into some potting soil. So looking at my Cosmos seeds, I had purchased 3 kinds of these because they're rather on the short side for Cosmos. I have seen Cosmos get up to 6 feet tall, and I do have one variety that will get that tall. Those are some big flowers. But I wanted some that were smaller, and thank goodness these are much larger seeds than we worked with for the coleus. And usually the larger the seed, the more you can bury them in the dirt. You actually don't bury these that much, just a thin layer of your mixture over the seed. But unlike the Cosmos, unlike the coleus that we just really patted in on top and didn't cover it all, these do get a little covering of your potting mixture, your soil, your seed starter, whatever it is you're starting them in. And they're really cute, they're long and skinny. So I'm going to do 2 seeds per pot. And I'm just gonna sort of press them in and lightly cover them. And this particular mixture is Cupcakes Blush. Now, these great little Jiffy pots come with plastic tags, and I put them somewhere very safe, and I don't know where they are. I only have my wooden ones. You really don't want to use wooden ones because they will absorb the moisture, and I will switch them out to the plastic ones as soon as I figure out what I did with them very safely. Just gently patting these in. Now the Cupcakes Blush are a pink, and they have sort of the look of, instead of having separate little petals, they look more like a cupcake wrapper. And they're sort of like all connected and frilly, very, very cute. And Cupcakes Blush gets to be, these are the taller ones that I had ordered of the short ones, if that makes any sense. These get to be about 40 inches tall. It's a little over 3 feet. That still is very manageable to me, something that I can work into the garden, no problem. I am not planting all the seeds because I will do another round later. We're gonna get some of these started, and then I'll do another round so that I have different bloom times, and in case I did these all wrong, then I can go back and fix it. Oops, we have 3 in that one, oh well. There we go. Just like with the coleus seeds, I will put these on a heat mat and put the dome on top to keep them nice and moist and warm. Most seeds like the heat mat for the germination period, but then you have to remember to take it off so that you don't toast all your little plants. Okay, so I have 3 rows here of my Cupcakes Blush. I'm gonna go wash my hands and I'll be right back. So the next type we're going to be planting is Xsenia. I don't know if I said that right or not, but I've heard really, really good things about this type. Let me dump out a few seeds. So Xsenia will go right here. I can get my little, there we go. And we'll start filling those in, 1 or 2 seeds a pot for this one for me. And the thing that I love about this particular cosmos is it only gets to be about 2 feet tall, which is awesome. And it's sort of a terracotta rose color, so we're getting the color that I love and a real manageable size plant, which I think is going to just fill in my garden really nicely. I'm having a little trouble covering them. There we go. So you can see, there they are, really tiny, but they sort of get mixed in with the dirt really easily too. And I still have a bunch of seeds in there for another planting round if I decide to in the future. The next type we're going to do is Rubenza. And Rubenza gets 3 to 4 feet tall, so a little bit taller. This is sort of a cranberry rose color. You see the pink theme here. Okay. The cosmos seeds can be sown right directly into your garden too if you wait until the warmer weather. So that's another possibility for these leftover seeds that I have. If I don't want to do another round where they're being started indoors, I could just sprinkle these outside once it's warmer, and maybe I'll give that a try and see for next year if I think that it's worth starting them inside or just go ahead and direct sow outside. It is nice to have a collection of flowers that you can directly sow outside. I'm always afraid that I will forget where I planted them outside, which there is that possibility, but they probably would still come up. Okay, so I have 2 more packages here of Cosmos seeds, and I have to admit, now the other ones I very thoughtfully chose because I wanted that color and I wanted that size, and these just happened to be near the checkout at one of our local nurseries, and I just saw them and thought they looked pretty and grabbed them very quickly. That being said, this particular variety here, Candystripe, gets to be 6 feet tall. 3 to 6 feet tall, which is not quite what I'm looking for, but I'm gonna plant a few of them. Why not? This variety here, the double click blend, gets to be your 2 to 3 feet tall, so this seems to be more feasible for me. And we have just enough little pots here to do a couple of rows. And this variety comes in a little tiny container here. There we go. I'll save a few of those to plant outside also. And this is going to be the double click. When I was at the nursery, there was not a lot there yet. Still, they're indoor plants, they're seeds. But of course, it was busy because we gardeners are all ready for spring to start. And that is when it is really, really easy to be susceptible to anything that they put near the checkout, is what I find. So they were very smart to have their seeds there looking so pretty. And those bright colors. I cannot wait to get to the nursery once they have all their annuals and perennials out. Okay, that was the double click blend. And I have one more row here. This is going to be the Candystripe. This is the foot tall ones, 3 to 6 feet. And I always end up with a full 6 feet and a lot of leaves. Okay, let's see. We won't do too many of these. Our last row. According to the packages, these take closer to a full week to germinate. So my coleus, it was so lovely to have them start to pop up after 3 days. You feel like that immediate gratification. But these, I think, will take a little bit longer. So I'm going to give them the full, one package even set up to 10 days. So, you know, even my quickly germinating coleus, there are some that take longer. So it's worth giving them the full amount of time, plus a couple extra days just in case. Okay, and I will save the rest of those to direct. So we have another tray ready to go. I'm going to go back out to the heat lamps, the heat mats, and the lights so that we can get these going. Okay, I have my heat mat set up. The grow lights are on now. I leave these grow lights on for the germination process, and even my coleus here that are newly germinating, I'm still leaving them on for the full 24 hours a day. I will knock that down probably within the week. Okay, these are a little tall. We're going to have to slant them. There we go. I'm going to seal these in. This will keep the moisture in. Terrific. And I'll see you back to give you an update on these probably in about another week or so. I hope that you are all enjoying getting ready to be outside, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't remember what I was supposed to say. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.